All right, everybody, welcome out to the Log Room Guys Craft Beer Show. It is Tuesday, October the 25th, 2022. Jersey Johnny coming at you. And with me, as always, is none other than Mr. Beer Samurai. Say hello, Mr. Samurai.
Mr. All right, I'll take it.
Master Beer Samurai?
No, just Beer Samurai. Just
The Beer Samurai.
There we go.
Mr. The Beer Samurai.
There you go. Now you got it.
All right.
Happy World Pasta there, Johnny.
Happy World Pasta Day. That's today, isn't it?
It is today.
All right. Well, if that case, everybody, happy World Pasta Day.
I was also celebrating another day today.
Other than World Pasta Day?
Yeah.
There's more. I mean, what could be better than just World Pasta Day?
National Greasy Foods Day.
So happy National Greasy Foods Day, everybody.
So I had to figure out how to combine the two.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you can see what I'm eating some ravioli here with spinach and bacon. So it's just basically
got greasy pasta.
Yeah, cooked up some bacon. Took the bacon out, left the grease, boiled up some little cheese raviolis, fried them in the bacon, added some some spinach to it, spinach, and put the bacon back in.
There you go. That's pretty good. I like that.
It's actually greasy, but you don't really mind it so much.
Right.
Because the pasta soaks it up. Maybe not one of my favorite pasta dishes, but this actually turned out pretty well.
And you know what? I'm thinking maybe sometime during the show we should ask you what one of your favorite pasta dishes are, or maybe even three of your favorite pasta dishes.
Well, considering we already advertised, that's our top threes for the
that's true
for the day.
So if anybody saw that and you're wondering why we were doing top three pasta dishes, this is why. It is World Pasta Day, not international. World Pasta Day.
It's World Pasta Day, and it's my first beer. I'm actually doing something a style that I think actually goes pretty well with Italian food. Not a lot goes well with Italian food, especially when it's got red sauce in it.
Very true.
But a lot of the European lagers actually do a admirable job in my opinion. I don't know how you feel about it. So I'm pouring it into the wrong damn glass. What is wrong with me?
What is wrong with you? You should know this better.
I'm actually going to transfer glasses here. There's a reason for it, but I'm being an idiot. What I'm drinking is Spider Bite's Vienna Lager.
Very nice.
So
very nice. I enjoyed that the other day myself.
Yeah, and it's good.
At Spider Bite.
I got this at Spider Bite.
At Spider Bite. There you go. We'll talk more about that in a minute. If you haven't figured it out already, folks, it was kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Kismet, or what's the word I'm looking for?
Fortuitous chance.
Something along those lines. There's another word, but it'll come to me at some point.
But
in any event,
figure it out.
well, here's the thing. Oh, damn it. It's right on the tip of my damn tongue. Anyway, we had a guest for tonight. Okay. And they were unable to attend. And I'm not going to say who it is, but hopefully we'll get them on at some point. But in any event, we have had some of our fill-ins recently, and we have another one or two coming up with some important shows. So we decided that this would be, fortuitous is a good word, but we decided to do another one of these shows. Yes, that's right, folks. It's another Just the Two of Us show.
Sorry, just suffer through us two idiots again, but
yeah. So, but we can actually wrap up our weekend trip out to the point.
Yeah, if anybody got the notification and tuned in on Saturday. Now, one of my coworkers, actually next boss, came down to my desk yesterday and said, "So, how was Montauk?" I'm like, "How did you know I was at Montauk?" He goes, "I am actually that one person that follows the show."
That one. Oh, that's our fan.
I said, "Oh, you're the guy."
Oh, it's him. All right, good. Well,
I said, so I
at
said,
least
"How
was
to like the
paying
video?" He's like, "Well, I didn't actually watch it. I just knew you were Montauk."
He just knew we were there, right?
The British.
Very funny.
Funny
Very
people.
funny. Very funny. All right. Well, on that note,
This is why I had to change glasses, because I had to put in my spider bite glass.
oh, you had to put in a spider bite glass. So,
And this is a great glass for a Vienna lager.
Mm-hmm. Well, I am. Thanks to you, I am going to be drinking a beer. This beer.
Yes, I drank that on the show. What, 3 weeks ago?
About 3 weeks ago. Two weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. Wet Hop Hanse. Hanse.
You better know how to say it. You're German.
It's a Keller Pils.
Yep. And John likes his Kellers.
I love my Kellers. So I'm going to put this right into this really, really, really nice glass that I have here. I'll show you in a second. I got to take the obligatory picture first. Hold on.
Does the glass match my shirt?
The glass matches your shirt. Yes, it absolutely does.
Yeah, some Vagabond and
Vagabond out in
Montauk threw this shirt at me.
There you go. Cheers.
Cheers.
It's a tasty little Keller, isn't it? That's nice.
Yeah, and I like that they didn't severely hop it.
No, and you can taste it.
It's still got a nice Keller character to it.
And it's got the hoppiness too. You can tell it's wet hopped. And you know me with fresh hop beers. So
yeah, you love them, and they wet hopped it with German hops, so they just enhanced everything. So I think they did a great job with that beer.
Mm-hmm. Lovely, but so as Dave was saying, we went out to Montauk this past weekend. If you did see the special show we did on Saturday, it only ran about 35 minutes long.
Yes,
but if you saw that show, then you'll see it makes up for it, us just doing the two of us tonight, because we had about 40 guests on the show. Actually, if you count everybody that was there, we probably had about 140 guests.
Yes, but those who actually were paying attention and waving at the camera, and we had a little interaction with a few people, but basically walking around and Radio Pete.
Yeah, Radio Pete. Radio Pete.
He's a lot taller than I thought he'd be. I expected him to be about 5'4".
Gotcha. No,
but no,
well,
he's
the background. The background's going to change for a second because the picture's on the other folder. So pay no attention to it. Yes. Hey, look at that.
Hey, it's football season.
It's football season. Just want to put it up now. We're both standing up in this picture.
Yeah. And
so why would you think he was 5'4"?
Because I've never seen that picture before.
Okay.
Doofus.
I'm 6'4". So Pete's 6'3". I'm 6'4".
Yep.
Yeah. So that's that picture was from about 21, 22 years ago.
Back when you were on the radio.
Back we were on the radio. Back out in WVD.
You guys both have faces for radio.
We had faces for radio.
Exactly. I mean voices.
Faces, voices, same shit, different day. So, in any event. Radio Pete actually was out in Montauk on Saturday, so he popped by and
he's Popeye.
He's Popeye.
Oh, yeah. Wow. You would have liked this, didn't you?
I am what I am.
So what's we got? Now he popped by and had a beer with us, talked for a little bit, and actually left in the middle of our show too. So that was good.
So I had to try to carry the show while they were giving their bro hugs goodbye.
Exactly, but
we define what the bro hug is. Bro hug, yes, you're making contact. You got your arms out each other, but you're patting each other on the back. So
as long as you're one of your hands at different intervals, so keep moving.
Yeah,
you're good.
As long as you're hitting each other, it's good.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's bro hug.
Right. If you if you leave your hands still and start nuzzling, it's not a bro hug anymore.
No, you've moved on to a different.
You've moved on to a different level of hugging. But more on Pete later, because I actually did hook back up with him again on Sunday at another brewery. But we'll talk about that in a minute.
But the first thing we need to do is a big shout out and thanks to the Leprestis.
Absolutely, Jim and Donna. Thank you so much for hosting this weekend and setting everything up. That was amazing. We went out and
we apologize for all the broken glassware.
I had nothing to do with any of it.
I may have had something to do with it.
You might have had a little to do with one, but you know what? So did they. So there you go.
So, but at any rate, we that was a great time. We were out on the boat, saw the lighthouse out on the boat, and then ran over to the brewery, and then just had an amazing clam bake.
Oh yeah.
Oh, got the breakfast the next day.
And the breakfast the next day. But to back it up, we went out before we even went to Montauk Brewing to do the show. We went out on their boat, which is called Down the Hole.
Down the hole.
Down the Hole. We went out, and it was great. I mean, went out through Gardner's Bay, past the bell at Gardner's Bay. If you're a Billy Joel fan, you like the song
Down Easter Alexa. Yeah,
absolutely. It talks about the bell at Gardner's Bay. Went right past the bell at Gardner's Bay, out into Block Island Sound, and went around the tip and saw the lighthouse, and came back. And it's just amazing because I mean I'll be honest, it's the first time I've been to Montauk. I've been to the Hamptons before. I've been to I haven't even been to East Hampton. Just gotten to the Hamptons, but I hadn't been.
Southampton would be the first.
Southampton. I bet Southampton. Yeah. So I hadn't been out to Montauk before, and I certainly hadn't been out in Gardner's Bay and Block Island Sound. But to be out there and just look across and literally just like look at Connecticut and Rhode Island from Long Island is it's pretty damn cool. It really and the fish out there we saw just breaking at the top of the water was amazing.
Yeah, the stripers were boiling at the top.
Yep.
So we it's like, why don't we bring the poles?
Because we brought the beer instead, Dave. That's what.
And the mimosas, the beer and mimosas.
Yes. So, but yeah, I had a great boat trip. Went down to Montauk Brewing. Did the show. They hosted there, and we hosted our show there when they hosted us, and had a number of really, really, really good beer. Really beers.
Nice stuff they have there.
Yeah, and talked with Vaughn. Vaughn is one of the owners, and we actually tried to get him on. Meant to get him on, but he got there. He got tied up, and he wound up getting there after we had finished the show already. But we got to chat with him for a bit. And he's actually going to come on this show on a Tuesday night soon. We'll get him on and reiterate everything we talked about out there and some other stuff as well. But they're doing a bang up job out there. And I tell you, the day was just absolutely gorgeous between the boat and being outside.
Saturday was an amazing day.
It was an amazing day, gorgeous weather. And I tell you, I mean, Dave, you said it on the show that we did out there. It looked like it was on season. And
when we asked, it's like, are these all locals? He said, no, it's actually not. It's probably half and half right now.
Yeah. And Pete actually said, because Pete got there before we did, and he said it was as busy as it was when we got there. It was twice as busy when he first got there.
And that line was extremely long. It calmed down by the time we were done. I think us doing the show scared a lot of people away. I don't know.
Few people were like, "We got to get out of here." But a few people did stay because they actually talked. They actually wanted to. They were hams enough that they wanted to get involved, which was cool.
A lot of fun.
Talked to a group of guys that just went golfing and had a nice football conversation with them.
Yes.
In any event,
of course, Jim being Jim invited him to the clam bake.
Invited him back. We're talking to him for 5 minutes about football. He invited him back to the clam bake. Right?
That's the kind of guy he is.
Exactly. So, but yeah, just an incredible weekend. And cheers to Little Presties for hosting. Amazing hosts, amazing place, amazing boat, and amazing food too. Like you said, that clam bake, the clams, the shrimp. The lobster we had, and then the breakfast the next morning. I know rivaled it, to be quite honest with you.
Actually pretty damn good. Damn. Jim just cooks up a storm now, doesn't he?
Works for me. But,
we had to force him to sit down and eat.
Yeah, but So and just overall, I mean, Montauk is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
It's something else out there.
I'll get back out there. Definitely get back out there. Often, actually, if I can.
Yeah.
But in any event, so on the way out, you stopped at a couple breweries, right? On the way out?
Yeah.
I mean, we both stopped at places on the way back, but Jess and I came straight out there. You stopped at a couple on the way out.
Yeah, so on the way out to Montauk, we only stopped at Spider Bite.
Oh, okay. All right.
Stopped at Spider Bite. Spider Bite.
Biter Spite?
Biter Spite. Or Cider Spite.
Cider Bites.
And was Larry and Sharon were there, so we got to speak to them while they were there. I thanked him for timing his release of Peanut Butter Cup Boris.
Yes, that
with our trip.
Crazy.
Oh my God, it's so good.
It was good.
Such a good beer. Well, that's the only place we stopped on the way out
Okay.
there.
And then on the way back, you guys took off before we did.
Yeah.
And then you stopped at 27A.
Yeah. Stopped at Sand City first.
Okay.
In Lindenburg.
Lindenhurst, yes.
Lindenhurst. And then we went to 27A, got to speak with Ryan and Melissa, the owners there.
Right.
We'll see what we can do about getting them on the show, because they make some very interesting beer there. They had a almond cherry raspberry. I think it was a Pilsner.
An almond cherry raspberry Pilsner. Almost sounds like something Carton would do.
Yeah, so as I told him, it's kind of.
There's a reason I say that. So.
Yeah, it's kind of like Carton's fuckery. How they like to play around and make some beer. And this was kind of a marzipan kind of inspired beer. And I think something's on fire, because here come the fire trucks, Johnny.
That never happens during the show.
Never happens during the show. So I got to talk to them, talking for quite a bit. Then we went to dinner at this place called the Village Lantern. If you're ever in Lindenhurst and you want to have some really good German food and a fun time, both times we've been in there, they've got people walking around playing accordions.
Mm-hmm.
And singing. It gets a little raucous there. They've got some pretty decent German beer on tap. We had Weinstefaner's Oktoberfest. Actually, it's the Fest beer.
Fest beer, yeah, they make a Fest beer, yeah.
And they serve them in half liters.
Mm-hmm.
So not a bad thing. Not a bad thing.
Not doesn't suck at all.
Yeah, well, we were there previously when we had gone out to Spider Bite the one time. We'd also gone out to Fire Island, Root and Branch, a couple of others, and just on the way back, I said, well, you can go to Lindenhurst and eat. There's a few good restaurants in there, and we found Village Lantern, got in there, and the place was just a madhouse. And I didn't realize that we're about 4 buildings away from 27A, and about a block and a half, maybe 2 full blocks from Sand City. When we stopped there, it's probably a good thing we may not have made it home. I was already tired, so
yeah, sure.
But it was really a lot of fun visiting them this time around. So hopefully we'll have Ryan on the show and we can talk about a few more things that I'd love to talk to him about. I told Johnny, but we'll
keep that for the show.
Yep, keep it for the show.
Yeah.
So now I know you hit Spider Bite on your way out first after touring Montauk, going out to the lighthouse.
We went out. We stayed in Montauk for a while. We probably didn't even leave Montauk till about 2:30, 2:45.
Yeah.
We went out by the lighthouse, went in, we went all the way up in the lighthouse. We went up to the top, and I got to tell you, you realize how out of shape you are when you start walking up those steep stairs in a lighthouse.
And there's a reason I didn't go up the lighthouse.
There you go. But anyway, so get up there, and it was ironically, it was pretty windy.
Oh yeah, so it is.
And it was windy to begin with, right? But then when you're up at the top of the lighthouse and you get outside on the top, there's only a small little step out that you can go, and you just stick your head out. And I had to take my hat off. It would have blown right. It would have right. It would have blown right off my head.
So this past weekend, I think Johnny spent more time with his hat off than I've ever seen him with his hat off.
There you go.
Because on the boat, with the wind blowing on the boat, he had to take the hat off so he didn't lose it.
Yeah.
So Johnny has a full head of hair.
I do.
He does. So
ironically, but in any event, so we went out there, went back into town a little bit. I grabbed this. The legacy caps, the
tourist hat. Yeah.
But the legacy brand hats.
No.
Yeah,
they're really soft. Caps as much as you, so I don't know the brands.
So
I know Starter, and that's about it.
It was a nice hat. I love the legacy hats, and this was a good. I don't know if you can tell. It's
it's maroon on the back.
Maroon, right? And yeah. So I got this, and I got this one there. Just I grab a cap whenever And
the only reason I know Starter, and Lids, is because both brands rarely do the people that own them take the tags off of them.
Oh yeah.
So
I had, ironically, just before you logged on, before we went on the show, I realized I hadn't taken the legacy sticker off the top here. I was like, let me rip that off.
If you ever get a chance, see the Key and Peele skit on not taking the tags off the hats, because they just keep trying to one-up each other.
Sure.
And I think at one point, one of them is walking around with the salesperson at the counter on his head.
There you go. That's
selling him the hat.
Well, I mean, it's like leaving the tags on a baseball cap, right? Is like a new
I don't
It's
get
like
it.
it's like a current day Mini Pearl with the tag on her hat, right?
I don't know. I think I don't know what it is. I think it's posing in
Yeah.
a sense, bragging. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't do that.
I don't think it has anything to do with Mini Pearl.
It's a sticker. Take it off. You know.
Anybody who wears a hat like that has no clue who Mini Pearl is, Johnny.
Well, I said it to you.
I do, but they're
Right.
not. They're not going to.
Right.
So I don't think there's an emulation going on there.
You know, I actually saw Mini Pearl back in the day. I was in the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville and saw Mini Pearl.
The old red one or the new thing that looks like a World War II bunker?
Oh no, the old red one.
Nice. What do they call that?
Grand Ole Opry.
No. There's another name for it.
Oh, I don't know.
What's it called? I'll look it up. I'll find it.
Check it out.
Fill some space there, Johnny.
There you go. So in any event, yes, we did that, and then we went down, got another cup of coffee where we got the coffee on Saturday. And,
left hand, right?
Left hand. Really good coffee. Really good. And then down the end of that block, ironically, was
there it is. Ryman Auditorium.
Ryman Auditorium. Then down the end of that block is the beach. Walk right out onto the beach, right? So went out there, walked down to the water, took a couple pictures, did that, and this local walked up to us and started having a conversation with us. We were talking to him like 15 minutes, just telling us all about the area and how busy it is in the summer and what they've been through and blah 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 blah. And I mean, at first it was kind of cool, and then I realized that he was just lonely and bored. But whatever.
If you went into the lighthouse and you went through the museum, you learned a lot of different things about Montauk.
Yeah, the museum was really
phenomenal. Because
really,
you learned
cool.
that that's where they housed the Buffalo Soldiers for a little bit, right?
Yep,
Also, Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders, that was their base.
Yep.
There's a huge radar tower left over from the Cold War. In case any Russian subs came by, but they also, what's they called? Camp Hero has got a whole bunch of old batteries in it from World War II era.
And you would think they would have bought new Duracells by now. I mean, what are those batteries going to do now?
Yeah, and the thing is, they're like 12 volts. Who uses 12 volts?
Who uses 12 volts anymore? So we joke. These are the jokes, people. But in any event, one thing I did learn. I mean, I had known this, I guess, to a point, but really never like sunk in, I guess. I vaguely remember it from years ago in school or whatever, but lighthouses, I mean, it's been so long since I've actually been up and paid attention and had a tour of a lighthouse by any means, right? And, just looking at, I forget what the French physicist's name was that invented the
Fresnel.
Invented the refracting and reflecting.
Claude Auguste Fresnel.
There you go. Give that man a cheroot. The reflecting and the refracting. I mean, you could get a 20-watt bulb and put it behind these things and see it 100 miles, but see it a long way.
A very long way. If you really want to be impressed and understand the power of a Fresnel lens, get inside. And we went. It was closed, but Fire Island has a museum, Fire Island Lighthouse. Right. And they have got one of the largest Fresnel lenses, if not the largest I've ever seen. And what they do is there's a walkway around it that you can get to the back of it, and you can look through it and see its magnifying power.
Okay.
It's really insane. There's I think there's a third order Fresnel up in the Twin Lights.
Okay. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So next time you head off the Carton, it's in the shed off to the side. It's not in the main building. Cape May. No, not Cape May.
The lighthouse in LBI.
Yes, Old Barney on LBI. There's a lighthouse museum there.
Right.
Okay, and if you go to the Barnegat Lighthouse Museum, they've got, I think it's either a third or a second order Fresnel.
Gotcha.
They've got, or fourth, I think. I forget it. I think are they bigger if the numbers go up? I forget.
They're bigger if the numbers go up. Yeah.
Okay, so it might be I think it might be a 3.
Right.
Could be a 4. But yeah, there's, I think, a 5th order Fresnel at Fire Island. The thing is,
it's huge. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's when you head back out there again, Stop in Fire Island on the way out.
Speaking of Fire Island.
Yeah, they must be. They must be going the other direction. They didn't come screaming down the road.
Well, I got to tell you, it got really loud for a split second. Almost, he was driving like 90 miles an hour.
He must have. No, he must have turned onto on Hudson.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I opened a second beer, and this is a beer thanks to Johnny. And this is when we did our top 3 beers. This made Johnny's list.
Yes,
and it is because he just got back from Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
And he went to Grist House and he brought me back a London Crawling, and I really thank him for this. And I'm going to take a sip of this bad boy. This is a British Dark Mild, and I love my British Dark Milds.
Mm-hmm.
There's that.
Just stick your nose in there for a while.
Yeah, there's that. Oh God, those British 2-roll malt kind of like you haven't cleaned out the windowsill in a while, Funk.
Mm-hmm. Do I lie?
Oh my God. That's absolutely phenomenal.
Right.
There's something in there.
As Matt would say, there's zero suck in that beer.
There is zero suck in this beer. That is an amazing beer. Absolutely an amazing beer. Any rate, drag someone out to taste this.
So good. Such a good beer. Love. I can't go out there without getting at least 1 4-pack of it.
At least, yeah.
At least, and have a couple while I'm there too. Yeah, the next time I go up there, I'm just going to get a case of the damn thing.
That is so damn good.
Mm-hmm. There's
So
no point
good.
in not. Yeah.
Any rate, so let me put the can over here.
There you go.
And I still love the name. And I text John the beers I'm going to drink on the show prior to the show. So after I texted that, I had the Clash song stuck in my head the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So I used to know the bass line to that, a little bit of it. So, anyway. It's not an awful thing.
No, it doesn't. That's zero suck in that song too.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, back to business. All right. So yeah. So we got out of there. We got out of town and we headed back. We stopped in Holbrook first at Spider Bite.
It's being tasted
right now.
There,
and
I think it's being rather appreciated.
I was going to say she actually gave it back to you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she actually gave it back to me.
Yeah. So, but yeah,
I'm enjoying it.
It's just stupid. I know.
Give me a moment.
Please take a
this
moment.
beer.
This is. Would you like me to mute your screen so you have some privacy for a minute?
I tell you, I can imagine. Now I want to go to England,
mm-hmm.
and I want to go to a public.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny because it took far too long in my life for me to realize that pub is just short for public house.
Mm-hmm.
It took far too long.
Right.
So, and the public houses are just the local bar where people can go hang out. Some of the older ones that have fireplaces in it, couches, just a nice, comfortable place for the locals. The beers were on hand pulls when you're going back in the day, and that's a lot of what the camera movement is about.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of restoring that beer culture, more of an ale culture, right, in England than anything. Mm-hmm. They're really not known for their lagers there, are they?
Not so much, no.
No. So Camera is the real ale. The R and the A at the end is real ale, and I can't remember what the CAM stands for. But I know that the current King of England was one of the big backers of that movement. And you would see now King Charles, at a local pub, drinking a beer off of a beer engine. Right, so I could imagine drinking something like this, sitting in one of those pubs and just drinking this all damn night, and eventually just reminding them that we helped them win both wars.
Exactly. Drinking it all damn night, and then
then getting
and then,
kicked out.
and then crawling through London home.
Yeah. Or whatever hostel or
wherever you were
Airbnb
resting your noggin that night. Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
That is that's absolutely delicious. It's funny because some of my favorite British dark miles have chocolate notes to it. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say that. I can't say it's a chocolate note. I can and I can't. I don't know. Johnny's drank this enough; he knows what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Because many of the really good British dark miles you get in the U.S. do have a nice chocolate note to it. This is just a straight up 2-row malt note.
It's just a huge, big, huge 2-row malt note. Yeah, I mean, if you really sit there and think about it, you can get some chocolate out of it.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. You can work your brain into saying, okay, there's chocolate in it.
Right.
Where the other ones you're drinking, like, oh, chocolate.
Right, and a lot of them they'll put a little bit of chocolate malt in it, make it a little darker.
I don't think.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing. They're not.
No, I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying this to me tastes like what I would imagine the true, authentic beer engine in a public house, in one of the swarthier districts of London.
Right.
And this is what I imagine.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, and it's made in Pittsburgh. So I mean, just go figure.
Some of the best. No, we got authentic German beer brewed in Pittsburgh too.
This is true. This is true. Hofbrau is in Pittsburgh, but
I'm impressed with this beer.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
You are very welcome, and thank you for this one. This is phenomenal. This
very welcome.
A little bit of shilling.
A little bit of shilling. I've had that song stuck in my head ever since
Saturday night.
Saturday night, yes.
So, in any event, so we leave. We went to Spider Bite. We got to Spider Bite, and
was Larry there? Or was he on
just
the bike
missed?
Ride?
They actually did the bike ride, but he showed back up the brewery. He actually, apparently, according to Frank, Larry actually ran. But there's a couple.
Yes, he did tell us he was going to run it because it was so short he didn't feel like
it was 6. It was 6 miles. He said it was 6 miles. Yeah. So and other breweries were involved. But in any event, long story short, he came back to the brewery, but he left there. We missed him by about 10 minutes.
If only it wasn't for that lonely local.
I know. I texted him when I got there, when he wasn't there, and he said he just missed him. So he said I had beer from him. He said leave it with Frank. I left it with Frank, but had a few beers there. Went over a couple things with Frank, and it was really good. Had the peanut butter.
Peanut butter cup Boris.
Peanut butter cup Boris, yeah.
The thing about this particular beer, if you drink it cold, it's straight up chocolate and peanut butter.
Mm-hmm.
Once it starts to warm up, not when it warms up, as it starts to warm up, the roast notes of Boris come out of it.
Right.
And you really start to taste more of the Spider Bites Boris stout. So it's one of the few stouts I'll say, drink it really cold first.
Mm-hmm.
So you can experience that, and then experience how that beer changes as it starts to warm.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were there for a little while. We were there for about an hour, and then we left and went across the island up north, and went up to Northport, and went to Sand City up in Northport. So between the two of us, we covered both Sand City locations on Sunday. And that's where hooked back up with Radio Pete.
Right. And did you wind up going to Beer Cheese?
We went to Brew Cheese. Yep.
Brew Cheese.
Brew Cheese. Yep. Right around the corner from Sand City. Had a few Sand Cities too. Got a few. We're gonna get them on the show. Okay. In a few weeks, they're gonna come on.
What do I have there?
Save a couple.
Oh, oops! I hopped my pants.
I have a can of that.
I actually enjoyed that. Carrie had I think it was the Fest beer.
I had the Fest beer while I was there, really and I also have a can of that. I grabbed a can of that.
That was a very good one.
And then Jess had the pumpkin.
Big surprise.
All right, as well as a blackberry raspberry, heavy fruited sour they had.
Okay. I don't think they had that down town.
She really liked
They had
that.
a Goza. They had a Goza that I think may have had that, but not a big not a kettle sour.
Gotcha. And then
it was I think it was blackberry blueberry Goza.
Okay. And then they had.
I did talk to the beer tender, and both facilities brew.
Yeah.
Right. So the one up there was the first one.
That was the original location.
Right. And so a lot of their flagships are brewed there. But some of the rest of them are brewed down in the south
side. Yep. And then also had the collab IPA they did with Aslan.
I don't think they had that. Otherwise, I would definitely order that. You know, I love my Aslan.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah,
it's really good. Yeah.
So maybe when he comes on the show, I'll wear my Aslan shirt.
There you go. Yeah, you wear your Aslan shirt. I'll wear my Sand City cap. You wear your Aslan shirt.
There we go.
Yeah. But in any event, we'll have them on the show soon. I'll have a couple of beers from them that I brought back that day, and then we went around the corner to Brucci's. Had phenomenal. I mean, we had. I had the Tony Soprano.
No, okay. Right? So there's got to be some sort of.
It was garlic basil Gouda, and Capicola.
You mean gabagool?
Garlic basil Gouda and gabagool. Yeah, there you go. I had some gabagool on the sandwich.
Was it one of
on a sandwich?
On a sandwich. Was it Sand City that had a beer called gabagool?
Sand City had a beer called gabagool. Yes. Yeah. And in fact, Radio Pete had the gabagool. He had the gabagool.
I had the gabagool.
It's got a little gabagool.
So. What time did you get home that night?
12:30, 1:45.
Sooner than I thought you would. I was expecting to get home around 2.
Well, we closed Sand City. Sand City closed at 7. Okay. I want to say. So we were there hanging out and talking. We got out at like 7:30. Like they were almost cleaned up, and we were BSing with them for a little bit. But we got out of there and we went over to Brucci's. Brucci's closed at 9, but we got out of there probably like 8:30, 20 to 9, something like that. And then we went back over to Pete's house. And we were at Pete's for a couple hours. Have some coffee and cookies with him and his wife Donna, and and then we got up at 10:30, got home about 12:30. 2 hours.
2 hours.
We went back. I didn't want to touch the LIE or the BQE or anything. We went back across the island down to the southern state and took the southern state back to the belt and took that around to the Verrazano and through Staten Island. I just want to avoid all of.
We wound up taking the southern state, the northern state, the central state, the western state, the eastern state, every friggin' state. We wound up coming back up to the northern state, and then the Cross Island, up to the Cross Bronx. Came over the bridge, and then down 95 to where we is.
Gotcha.
So got off just before it turns into the turnpike.
Just before it turns into the turnpike.
So past the Vince Lombardi rest area.
There you go. Very, very, very nice. So anyway, I'm going to finish this. Talk for a second.
Yep. Yeah, you get a second to open.
I need to open my other beer.
I'm sure you've got a few in there.
I've got a couple.
Yeah, I've got a few. I can go to a fourth possibly.
So
I am so aggravated with work. I don't care if I'm effective tomorrow.
There you go. Well, I'm going to have, I think I gave you one of these, but I'm going to have this. Probably should have had it before it, but I mean, it wasn't. I mean, that's all right. It's a work.
Yeah, that's not that heavily. That's not that heavily. It's not that heavy. Going to really interfere. Yeah,
interfere anything. But I think I gave you one of these. This is from Brick City. It's Concerto de Mals.
Yeah, it's in the fridge right now. I will probably not be drinking it tonight.
So another Vienna lager.
There we go.
So. In fact, I got all lagers in here. Imagine that, me drinking all lagers.
Well, I've gone 2 lagers. No, this is an ale. Never mind. Dr. Martin's an ale. So no, I'm only doing 1 lager tonight. Everything else will be ales. Back to my usual repertoire of ales.
This is a pretty dark Vienna, I gotta say.
Let's see the color on that sucker.
I'll take my obligatory picture and then show you the color. All right, here's the color of it.
That is a dark ass Munich. It's nearly a Schwartz beer.
All right. It's a little here. Hold on a second. I'll give you a better perspective. There you go.
That's a real deep amber, ain't it?
It's a deep amber. Yes.
So I imagine it's not too far off in SRM from this dark mild. Because this dark mild's one of the lighter dark milds I've had.
No, yeah, this is probably they're probably close in color. Yeah.
Well, my phone's down there, so I can't light anything up. I'm going to leave it there.
Oh, surprisingly, I mean, you know what? I'll tell you this, and it tastes like a solid Vienna lager, and you can taste a little bit more dark fruit maybe, but
Interesting.
in fact, a little bit more than a little bit dark fruit. But in any event, it's not fruity by any means, but it's a Vienna lager, and yeah, definitely getting some toffee in there. It tastes like it could be like if this were lighter, I'd still get the same flavor in my mind. You know what I mean? So yeah, the dark is not. It's not. Yeah, somebody said once, dark is not a flavor.
No, nope, it is not. When we were at 27A, we had the brown ale, and first we're like, did they give me the right beer? Because it didn't taste like your classic brown. But when I went through all the other beers they had on tap, you could tell that no, this was definitely their brown. But I did get a bit of a dark fruit note on it.
Right.
So when I talked to Ryan, he did confirm that there's Maris Otter. He loves Maris Otter.
Right.
And that is one of the identifying marks of Maris over any other two row is that cherry kind of Twizzler flavor.
Yep.
Throws. So he loves his Maris. So he had that in the brown. The brown, I wanted to say it was hoppy, but it wasn't hoppy. It was just the hops added more character to the beer than you usually get in a brown.
Okay.
I guess is the only way to put it. If that makes sense.
Fair enough. No, it makes total sense. Yeah, I've had hoppy browns before.
No, I've had hoppy browns before that are actually,
but they were billed as hoppy browns, though.
But not even as billed. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not even saying this was a hoppy brown. It was just because usually the hoppy browns that you get, they've gone with like some of the classic Pacific Northwest hops that are throwing. They're throwing the pine, they're throwing the citrus, and it's really kind of an aggressively hopped brown. It's kind of like the Pacific Northwest hoppy red, the red IPAs,
right?
Where they've gone that aggressive with it. It's not that they were aggressive with the hops; it's just that the hops tended to add a little bit more flavor or a little more character to the beer than you're used to in a brown. Browns tend to be a bit more on the malt bomb side, and then this wasn't. So it was definitely one of the more interesting browns I've drank. And you know what? I know now I think of it, it wasn't that far off from BDG. Come to think.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, yeah, BDG's a hoppy brown. Yeah.
Yeah, BDG's a hoppy brown, and it wasn't as aggressively hopped as BDG, but it was BDG does not have that heavy body that a lot of brown ale drinkers love in a brown.
Brown ale drinkers, right?
Yeah, me being one of them, I love nice body in a brown. Had that lighter body like BDG does. Interesting. Now I think of it. So,
yeah, no, I think this is I think this is pretty damn tasty, to be honest with you. So enjoy it when you have it. Let me know what you think of it when you do crack it open.
Yeah, no, that I won't be cracking open tonight.
So what is
kind of nursing this one?
I can tell you're nursing it. I'm gonna have to get more of it. I'm gonna have to. You know what? We're trying. I won't say what breweries, but Matt and I are actually in the process of trying to set up a couple of collabs out in Pittsburgh.
Very nice.
To the point where we go out on a Monday, come back on a Thursday, do a couple of collabs while we're out there. If we do make that happen, I will come back with a case of that beer.
Yeah, you got to bring some more of that back. That beer is delicious. I like that a lot. Oh, so let's see. What else has happened since? Not much since. It's just recovering from the weekend. A glorious weekend. How much rain did you drive through on the way back?
Spotty.
Yeah,
at best.
Wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad. So that's a good thing. And hopefully the upcoming weekend's going to be nice. Got a few things planned there. We'll see if we get to hit any breweries this coming weekend. Hope so. We've got some stuff to do. And I know last weekend we had done Oktoberfest up at Bear Mountain.
Yes, you did.
That was a lot of fun. They had some pretty decent beer. They had 2 Spattens. So I think Spaten was the main sponsor of it, but they had some local stuff too that you can get into your 1 liter Stein if you wanted to.
Right.
1 liter glass Stein. Mine's sitting over there somewhere, and I'm starting to get a collection of 1 liter Steins. I'm not sure that's a good thing.
That's very nice.
Very nice. I got my carton one here that I drink my water out of all the time.
You drink your water out of, right?
I've got a Bolero Snort one from their what do they call that? Bootoberfest? No, Oxtoberfest.
Oxtoberfest.
And the one from this one. And we wound up in Industrial Arts after that, and then a brewery I hadn't heard of at the time called Two Ladders.
I've heard of Two Ladders. Haven't had anything from them, but I've heard of it.
Pretty good.
So, but yeah, we went a couple weekends, not last weekend, obviously, the weekend before. Went to Beer Fest down in Hamilton. We poured at it. Witchcraft. It was pretty cool. I haven't been in anything like that before, that's for sure. In the woods. Electric, but everybody in costume. We had to dress up the booths, everything else, and yeah, it was pretty neat. And then we camped on Friday night. People camped on Saturday night too, but we got out of there afterwards.
Yeah, we have to come down for that one next year.
Yeah, we may. We'll definitely do it both nights. We'll camp both nights next year.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun.
It was definitely a lot of fun. So, but yeah, so that was. I mean, other than that, it's just been Oktoberfest and ramping up for holiday beers. I know. You know what? I mean, I still want to hold on a little bit more of October, even though there's only a week left, right? Yeah. But not even.
Yeah, probably one of my favorite months, right?
Yeah, a little bit more.
We still have some of those warm, beautiful days, and
right. Yeah, today was weird. Today was a bunch of different days at once. I mean, this morning it was cold and rainy, and then it got up to the 70s and sunny.
It was foggy as hell up
and then at the end of the day, it was foggy as hell.
Oh,
it got cold. The temperature just dropped, and it was fog everywhere.
No, this morning, you couldn't see more than 2 blocks out the window. It was and it stayed that way until like noon, and then it was probably not until about 4 o'clock the sun started to break through.
Which was weird because it was sunny down here most of the afternoon and in the 70s, and which was great because I'm out and about, and it was nice. And as I'm getting home, it started to get a little weird. Got in the house maybe 15, 20 minutes after I was inside. It was like I could barely see across the street. That's how foggy it was.
Yeah, that happens on the shore every now and then.
But what are you gonna do? But in any event, yeah, it's been like that. But I guess there's a little, I guess I'm getting to some extent, I'm getting ready for some holiday beers. You're
waiting for celebration.
I'm waiting for celebration. I know I could probably, if I go look, I could probably find some now, but I'm not. No. We'll.
I'm not sure quite yet, but
I am going to have my first celebration. I normally crack my first celebration. It's tradition for me. I normally crack my first celebration at 8 o'clock in the morning on Thanksgiving after I put the turkey in the oven.
Yep.
Get the turkeys in the oven, maybe 8:15, whenever, right around that hour. Turkey in the oven on, turkey going. I crack my beer and I go sit down and I watch. And I haven't eaten breakfast at this point. I've been picking on some stuff, so I guess you could say I did eat breakfast. I've been up for like an hour and a half at that point, right? But I pour the beer and I'll go over and I'll sit on a couch and by then it's 9. I'll put on the parade, right? The beginning of the parade. So that's my tradition. But this year, I'm going to have one celebration before that. So I'll have my celebration the way I do it. And we're talking about, folks, we're talking about Sierra Nevada celebration. I'm not just making a celebration myself and partying, right? I will do it on our holiday beer show, which is 2 days before Thanksgiving with Mr. Mulvihill.
With the Beer Whisperer.
at the Beer Whisperer. So
it should be pretty raucous because I believe I am off the next day.
I am off. I took off. I will not be. I'll be working Monday, and I'm sure I'll have to do some office work around, but I'm not leaving the house Wednesday. And
So you can
clearly
get
not
tanked
Thursday,
that
so.
night. We can all three of us
Okay.
get tanked.
No, it's going to be an interesting night.
That'll be fun.
But-
There may be some bourbon involved.
Yeah. Maybe some bourbon involved.
Maybe
There will be some bourbon.
a little bit of some bourbon involved.
Uh-huh.
A little bit for
Anyway.
us, a little bit for the turkey. Put some bourbon in the brine.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm sure I'll do office work, but I'll get all my outside work done Monday and Tuesday that week, and then office work Wednesday, and then Thanksgiving Thursday, and
That was yummy.
I'm sure there'll be something to do on Friday, but that'll be Friday. I'm not worried about Friday and Tuesday. So
Yeah, Friday is just waddle about with all that food in you,
exactly, and at some point have an epitome, right?
and at some point go down and grab some epitome.
Yeah, exactly.
Black Friday is when that beer is released.
Mm-hmm.
So Friday is a pilgrimage day down to Carton Brewing.
Wait, where?
Carton Brewing.
Carton Brewing. Oh, damn it! There you go.
That guy.
Okay,
Didn't
right.
say his name.
Yeah.
His name
So anyway.
will not be said tonight.
His name will not be said tonight. All right. So today is World. Are you cracking a third beer? Are you?
Oh yeah, I'm cracking a third beer.
Crack
This
your
is
third beer.
another one that was handed off to me by Johnny.
Yeah, let's
'cause
talk
it's
about,
funny,
let's
'cause-
talk about this one for a minute, and then we'll do the top three. Yeah.
Because Johnny and I never actually swap beers anywhere near where we live.
Once in a while.
Let's see, we've done a beer swap in Portland, Maine.
Yep.
Closest to well, we didn't really do a beer swap at City Field, did we? It was just we tried awkward tan lines there.
Yeah, I gave you a couple awkward tan lines. and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it's not real beer swap.
That's the name of a beer. He didn't give me awkward tan lines.
I didn't give him any awkward tan lines by any means. But in any event,
poured a little bit, not too bad.
there you go.
So Johnny gave me this one. It is a Brick City beer called Turning
That's
the Tide.
It's a collab, I heard.
I understand this is a collab, and it's a collab with these guys.
Oh, it's a Coastal Brewworks collab.
It's a Coastal Brewworks collab. So I've got my Coastal Brewworks glass out.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice.
And right now, oh, it's got a lovely nose to it.
Mm-hmm. I love it when things have lovely noses.
His big old Romanesque noses.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
Romanesque or Rubenesque?
It's the same thing in this case. When you talk about noses, it's almost the same thing.
All right. What do you think after that first sip?
Flavor is a little different than the nose.
Fair enough.
Flavor is, and it now explains why all the damn palm trees on it. Flavor is just a big citrus punch to the face.
Pretty much.
Little bit of onion to it.
A little bit of onion to that beer.
So a little bit, so the people who like a little bit of dankness, you got some dank going on in there.
Some dank, and that's definitely from the Trident hops, because there's Citra, Mosaic, and Trident in that beer.
So the citrus really comes through in the nose, I think.
Yeah,
You get a lot of citrus in the nose.
Now Trident is a hybrid hop.
Yeah.
Trident is a man-made hop. It's a cross between a bunch of hops, and the only one that I've heard that's been like confirmed that was part of that blend it was Citra. So there's Citra in it, and then more Citra. Okay, hence the citrus punch.
Something's throwing a shit ton of tropical flavors in there. You get pineapple in there.
Mm-hmm. Huge, there's huge pineapple in that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's all from the Trident. Trident is actually one of this guy's favorite hops now. Current favorite hops.
So this is his new slutty hop.
Trident is one of Augie Carton's new slutty hops, and I only said his name once, so
because it used to be what was the one that was what he considered the sluttiest hop? Mosaic,
and there's Mosaic in this too. So there's Citra, Mosaic, and Trident in this right now. So.
Oh yeah, this is the pineapple in this. It is strong with the pineapple.
The pineapple is strong in this one.
Yeah, some pineapple, some dankness, tangerine.
Yep.
Get tangerine out of this as well.
Mhm.
That's and we say it all the time that we don't sit here and we just don't talk about the beers and break down the flavors in the beer, but it's worth breaking. We've done it now for 2 or 3 of the beers. So we're back to doing
when
that. But it's okay.
Yeah,
for
well,
this.
for this show, when it's you and I, we can do that. So
Yeah, because the one thing that when we talk to brewers and owners and anybody else in the industry about what the podcast is like, we concentrate on the industry.
Right.
We don't sit there, sniff beers, tell what we get, and then take a taste and break it down. But we're doing that tonight. So we don't do it often, but we are doing it tonight because we've had some pretty special beers in the show tonight.
Yep. Yeah, they're really good. Really, really tasty. So, all right. From special beers to special food, this today is World.
Oh, before
Pasta
we get
Day.
there, we forgot something.
Oh, what did we forget?
Thursday.
Oh yes, bring that up. Go for it. Thursday
is American Beer Day, so make sure that you drink your American beer. We've had a nice. I've had one from New York, one from Pennsylvania, one from New Jersey tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Johnny's gone.
New Hampshire, New Jersey.
New Hampshire, New Jersey. So, we've got the Northeast covered pretty damn well here.
Pretty good.
But so on Thursday, make sure you celebrate American Beer Day.
I know I will be celebrating American Beer Day with some Coastal Brew Works beer.
There you go. And Johnny did throw me some more of building sandcastles, so that might be in my repertoire for that day. There
you go. We got to get you the check-in king for building sandcastles.
Yeah, well, I'll be working on that. So I'll definitely drink many of the 2 4-packs that I don't give away to people to try.
There you go. So,
because part of being a top drinker or something is also being an ambassador for it.
You have to. So as do I. I mean, I come back if I'm at a brewery and I get a 4-pack of beer. I usually have one of them.
Right.
Most of the time I'll have one. I'll split one and then I'll give the other 2 away. Sometimes I'll give the other 3 away. On occasion, depending on what it is, I might have 2 of them and then give 2 away. And then if it's really just too good to give away, I'll still give away one of them.
Right.
And it usually goes to you, or Matt.
Well, yeah. Well, both beer, I've taken that as far as Italy.
Right. So
I've drank that all over the country. I've taken it to Italy. I believe I brought it up to Montreal when I went up there.
Fair enough.
So we need to start getting sandcastles out there too.
We got to get sandcastles out there, absolutely. So, all right. So as I said, today is World Pasta Day. So let's digress into our top 3 list. Our top 3 list tonight is top 3. Hold on. For some reason, it did not. I have it right here.
Don't you lose it?
I lost it. Let me put it back up. Here we go. All right. Our top 3 favorite pasta dishes. Top 3 favorite pasta dishes.
Yeah, because we debated between pastas themselves, pasta shapes, but no, that's boring.
Right.
I mean, everyone's got their favorite pasta shapes, but John's probably like me, where I've got my favorite pasta shape for a particular sauce, as it should be. Right.
Exactly.
So, and pasta shapes will be mentioned as we go through our top 3.
Of course. So, how many pasta dishes do you have for your top 3 tonight?
Actually, I think I'm only going with 5.
All right, I have 5 and a brief nod to another 3.
So I first decided to break it down into 3 different categories. And the 3 categories is the pasta that if a restaurant has it, I will probably almost always order when I'm out. The other is to make at home. And the other one is just that one-off unique dish that I'll probably never ever have again. So let's start off with the ones I can probably make at home.
Okay.
I know I can make it home. One of my favorite things to do is penne rustica. And penne rustica, there is no one set recipe for this.
Enough.
I like to do sweet Italian sausage, but it's really penne, some sort of meat, and like I said, I like the sausage in there. I like to throw sun-dried tomatoes in there, roasted red peppers, but as long as you've put it into kind of a cream sauce with some cheese. Nah, I don't think you necessarily need cheese. But put it into cream sauce and then bake that like a baked ziti. So it's kind of like more of a white baked ziti, if anything, is I guess the best way for me to describe it. But I love making penne rustica. It's a great hearty dish on a cold night, and that's probably one of my favorite pasta dishes to make. So we'll go with that. So now we're going to get into some of my honorable mentions, because these are the ones that I will order out, because I can't do these as well as can be done in a restaurant.
Right.
So the two honorable mentions is, of course, lasagna.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. Every now and then, I don't always order it out, but every now and then it's like, I haven't had lasagna in a while. I need lasagna. Got to have my lasagna. The other honorable mention, and I'm sure I can do it. It's just more work than I think I really want to do. And I can do faux versions of this, but that's, a rigatoni bolognese.
Fair enough.
Right. Love bolognese. Love those nice hearty meat sauces. So that's another good one. But for my favorite one to order out when I can find it, spaghetti carbonara.
Fair enough.
Love carbonara, and I had some great carbonaras while I was in Italy, of course. One town way up north in the mountains, they made it and they brought it out in the pan they tossed it in.
Fair enough.
Oh, waddled away from that table. That was good, and actually had a really good plate of carbonara in the Marco Polo Airport in Venice.
Very nice.
Can you say that about any airport in the United States? I don't think so. But no, carbonara, love carbonara. And for those who've never had carbonara, it's basically bacon and a cream sauce, pancetta, traditionally.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do it over. It's usually spaghetti, but you can do what you want with it.
Mm-hmm.
But the best thing I've ever put in my face that was a pasta dish. When I was in Italy, we got to the San Daniele region. Now, most Americans, when they think of prosciutto, and those who are in the know prosciutto, are thinking prosciutto di Parma. Prosciutto di Parma comes from the Tuscany region. A lot of people don't realize that there is a prosciutto that comes from the Friuli region, and that is prosciutto di San Daniele. And I like San Daniele. There's I think I like it better than Di Parma. I think it's a little more subtle, lighter. And I don't mind the aggressive flavor of Di Parma, but I really like San Daniele. There's so many different, like the Di Parma, there's so many different years that you can have on it. We had stopped at a place called Doc d'Alava, and this is the San Daniele region. It's in San Daniele. And when you could drive through San Daniele, you see all the prosciutterias, all these huge buildings with these slats in it to let the air in to dry out the prosciutto. It's absolutely amazing. You just drive down this one road; it's just prosciutteria after prosciutteria after prosciutteria. But this one is huge, and I had a dish. It was taglioni con pioggia di caviale di prosciutto in polvere e burro.
Okay. See, now I write down everything.
Text you that?
Just text that to me. So I'm not even going to bother.
What it basically was, the taglioni are kind of they're a little like tortellinis.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't remember the shape, but they were like rounder, if anything. I know tortellinis are round, but taglionis, and the taglionis had prosciutto in them. And so this isn't a butter sauce.
Well, is this now? Yeah. Now taglioni's a little bit big. They're a little bit bigger.
Yes.
But are they as big as tortelloni?
But they're not as big as tortelloni.
Right. So it's tortellini, taglioni, tortelloni.
Actually, I think it's tortellini, taglioni, tagliono,
and then tortelloni.
Tortelloni.
Right. Because the tortellonis are very big. You get a dish with tortelloni, you're getting 3 of them on the plate. That's why
a little bit more than that, but yes,
no. I mean, some of them are big enough where you're getting 3 of them on the plate. Yeah. So,
but what made this dish special is yes, you've got some phenomenal prosciutto in the taglione.
yeah.
You've got this rich butter sauce that they've put it in. It was the caviale di prosciutto. Caviale di prosciutto. What that is if you've ever gone to an Italian deli, you've ordered prosciutto, you see them carve the rind off before they start to slice it, right?
Oh yeah, you got to carve the rind off because there's usually too much of it.
Yes,
you can't have that. You want some of it because you need some of that flavor in the rind.
Yes,
in the let's face it, in the fat, right?
Yep.
But you got to shave some of it off before you start.
So imagine having that dried and then shaved into like a fine grit, and have that sprinkled over top of that dish.
Shave the rind.
Shave the rind.
Shaved rind, not shaved parm.
Yes.
Shaved prosciutto rind.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was laughing earlier, and I told John that I would share this with him. It is the what did I do? I must have closed it. I looked up the translation from Italian to English for Campione di Caviale di Prosciutto in Polvere e Boro. I started to laugh because Google Translate with a shower of powdered ham, caviar, and butter.
A shower of powdered ham, caviar, and butter.
That's what it translates to. Powdered ham, caviar.
Gotta love it.
It's amazing.
Powdered ham, caviar.
And the thing is, this stuff is sold in tins that look like, or little jars that look like caviar jars.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not. So you could probably go find caviale somewhere and sprinkle it over your pasta dish. I still don't think it'll be as good as a place at D'Alva. God, that was so good. And of course, we started off that meal with running through, I think, 4 or 5 of their prosciuttos at different ages.
Sure. Well, why not? Of course, right?
You're there. Why wouldn't you?
You're there. Why not?
So I think that's it for me. I don't think there's any other. So many damn pasta dishes that are out there.
Oh yeah, I mean, you go down a rabbit hole. I mean, quite literally, but so it's
down the hole. You mean Jim's boat?
Down the hole, right? Down the hole. So for me, I mean, it was really hard to narrow it down because I mean, I've had so many pasta dishes over the years between ones that my mother made, my aunts and great aunts and grandmother, blah blah blah. I mean, I grew up in my mother's whole side of the family is all Italian, and it was just forget about it. I literally forget about it.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. But they didn't even say it that way. But in any event, and then out at restaurants and on trips, and then ones that I've made, quite frankly, too. So I kind of I'll give you I'll run down a couple of quick honorable mentions. All right.
Okay.
Linguine and white clam sauce is an honorable mention. You mentioned it before. You thought it would be on, but it's got to be said. So it's definitely on there. And I'll even take a twist of that. One dish I had quite often back in the day in Vincent's Clam House in Little Italy, right on the border of just up the block from Chinatown.
Yeah.
Just up the block from Canal Street in Little Italy, though. Over there, after in a band I was in back in the 80s, we used to go there. We'd finish playing at 1:30 when the bar was closing. Right, we'd pack up our stuff, get it out of there by 2. We had our rehearsal space in Jersey City, so we drive all the equipment back there, put it away, and then a bunch of us would head over at that point at 2:30 in the morning, go over to Vincent's in Little Italy, or 3:00 in the morning, go over to Vincent's in Little Italy because they're open till 4, right? And we get linguine and a medium sauce or a hot sauce, depending on how awake we were, because we did have to go to sleep at some point.
Fried Diablo,
right? And with fried galamad.
Galamad.
Yeah, so
Galamad. Galamad. Galamad.
Galamad.
Galamad.
Galamad. Right. So anyway, but we get that. But anyway, so linguine white clam sauce, and then throw back to, even being, even when I was a kid too. All kids, you eat ravioli, right? You eat all kids eat cheese ravioli, right? My father always ate.
Even though I ate it today at the top of the show,
Uh-huh.
ravioli was never one of my huge favorites.
Well, I'm getting somewhere. It's cheese. I'm not doing that, right? Cheese ravioli is what you ate when you were a kid, right? But my father always ate meat ravioli. So that always
I preferred meat ravioli.
And so do I. And my father was, so even as a kid that intrigued me. I'm like, let me taste this, and I'm like, wow, this is delicious. This is like better than eating that gooey cheese. I can eat cheese on everything else. You get cheese on this, cheese on that, but. So I'm going to go with meat ravioli, just meat ravioli and a marinara sauce, but always what my father did. He always, whenever he had meat ravioli in my mother's sauce, or excuse me, in my mother's gravy, right? He'd slice up. This was his, he's German, right? A little bit of Scotch and Irish. So
They're bologna.
Yeah, no. He cut up red radishes and put them around the side. So he did radishes with the meat ravioli.
And
it's just
very curious.
Just a nostalgic thing for me to do, right? So I'm throwing that on my honorable mention, and then of course the other granddaddy that I got to throw in the honorable mention too. It's just good old bowl of spaghetti and meatballs.
I was gonna throw that in there eventually because there was always a joke when I was a kid, because I'm not Italian, but there was a joke that Mrs. Moreno gave birth the same day as my mother did, and there was a joke that the babies were swapped as often as I ate spaghetti and meatballs as a little kid. And you could not put enough grated cheese on there for me.
Right, there you go.
Just could not.
Just cover it. Just have the whole thing, just the cheese over the top of it.
My meatball all covered in cheese.
There you go. So there's that. And then I wanted to throw out there a couple of nods to some pastas.
Okay.
Not necessarily a dish, but I love me my gnocchis.
Gnocchi or gnocchi?
Gnocchis, I said it. I love me my gnocchis.
Gnocchi.
I love me my gnocchis. And
what kind of sauce do you like on a gnocchi?
It depends. Usually I'll put a cream sauce on, like an Alfredo sauce, or even like a pesto Alfredo sauce, maybe even, or something like that. Tortellini still as well, tortellini or tortellini for that matter. And cavatelli, right? Gavadil, right? And made that all the time for my one daughter. My daughter Marina loved growing up when she was a kid. Loved gavadil and broccoli. So gavadil broccoli.
Cavatelli and broccoli is
So anyway, but here we go. Here are my three.
Took a long way. Before you go there, I forgot one thing as far as things that I make.
Go for it.
I got into my head once.
That must have been a busy day.
Oh God, it was so stressful. To try to make this one dish, man, the first time I did it, it actually worked out pretty damn well. It turned out to be, it was one of those things you're talking about, the things your father and your mother would make that became your favorite dishes. This was the other way around. This became my mother's favorite dish.
There you go.
She would make it. She lived alone. She'd make a big batch. She'd eat about an eighth of it and free 7 other portions of it and have it all week long. I'll tell you what it is first, then I'll tell you the name of it, because the name is not very appetizing. So what I did is I would take portobellos and I'd saute them with garlic and basil. And if I was feeling crazy, I'd throw some oregano in too.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I've got some farfalle boiling. And in a pot, I am melting gorgonzola into heavy cream. Then this all comes together. So it's portobello, gorgonzola, over farfalle.
Very nice.
God damn it, the Avalanche just scored over your shoulder.
They did.
Yeah. At any rate, so I came up with this quite a while ago. I'm not sure if it's been something that other people have done, but I had never seen it before, so I came up with this. But I came up with a very unappetizing name for the dish.
Go for it.
But everybody who's ever had it refers to it by this name, and refers to it lovingly by this name: mold and mildew.
Mold and mildew. Fair enough. Mold and mildew.
Gorgonzola is all moldy cheese. Mushrooms or mildew.
There you go. Mold and mildew.
But,
Gotta love it. There you go.
So, okay. Sorry, I interrupted. Now to your 3.
Not an issue. All right, my 3. Here we go. The first one is a hybrid, and I'll tell you why. And it's all right. I'll just tell you the pasta first. We'll go from there. Handmade tagliatelle. Okay. Handmade tagliatelle. Hand cut. Boom. You roll it out. Boom. Just hand cut it. So it's all different widths.
I can't eat tagliatelle because I'll get the sauce all over me when I eat tagliatelle.
Gotta love it. Got to eat it right. Yeah, almost got to eat it with a knife while you eat it too. So,
yeah. Right.
Yeah. So homemade tagliatelle, handmade, not homemade, handmade tagliatelle. You can get it in restaurants. Handmade. They'll roll the pasta right there. Just lay the sheet out and just cut it, and it's all different. It's like,
I work in the same building as Italy. I can walk downstairs and get it.
Now, my favorite dish to eat tagliatelle with is a ragu. Right? It's a ragu with a bunch of different meats. So would be like sausage, meatballs, short ribs, and brajol, all in the sauce in the over the tagliatelle.
Just reminded me of a dish we had in the village that is tagliatelle with duck ragu.
Mm-hmm. So that's what's one of my favorite dishes to eat with tagliatelle. But John's the 13th. John's the 12th. I'm sorry, John's the 12th in the East Village, and I'm not sure if it's still there or not. But I don't know if it made it through the pandemic. But got to get back over there and find out. But John's the 12th. They used to make one. They used to make theirs, and they'd serve it with their hand-rolled veal and pork meatballs. Not beef, veal and pork meatballs. They were phenomenal. Meatballs. They were phenomenal. So you just had tagliatelle with a good marinara on it, with a good gravy on it, right?
You mean marinara?
Marinara.
John's of 12th Street is still operating.
Beautiful, lovely. Got to get back over there. And then their meatballs, their veal and pork meatballs are so amazing, really. So anyway, so that's number 3. Okay. Number two. And it's number 1 other than the fact, and you'll hear why number 1 is number 1 when I get there. But number 2 is one of my go-tos, right? It's orecchiette with broccoli rabe and sweet Italian sausage.
There's someone over there that would absolutely 100% fucking agree with you.
Orecchiette with broccoli rabe and sweet Italian sausage with aglio, garlic and olive oil. Right? That's all you need. Boom. Yep. Give me that plate. I could eat. Give me a big bowl of it. A little salad on the side, and that's my dinner. I'm good. So that's my number 2. And my number 1, I only have certain times of the year, and I will give him to his credit. He does a damn good job, but nothing beats my mother's, and that's the lasagna. Okay, the lasagna my mother made for every holiday, for Thanksgiving. We still do it now. My father makes it. Thanksgiving, have it before turkey, right? 2 meals. Lasagna first, then turkey. Christmas, Easter, so forth and so on. That's lasagna, right? My father does a good job, but my mother's was, just.
Well, lasagna is just one of those special things, right?
Yep.
And absolutely. I know my little sister, when she was married, her in-laws, they had owned an Italian restaurant in Toms River. And their lasagna was one of those lasagnas that wasn't the pasta lasagna. It was kind of like those crepes. It was 7 layers, but it was still so light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was my mother's lasagna was about. My father comes close, but she made about, maybe 12 layers. All right, and she'd probably roll about somewhere between 600 and 800 little meatballs to make one big long tray of lasagna, and with all the ricotta and the mozzarella in it, and her gravy. And she started obviously early making the gravy too, right? Making that, and I do that too. My father makes it too, but I make her gravy. So you can ask anybody. My gravy's pretty good, and it's because it's my mother's recipe, which was my grandmother's recipe, which was my great grandmother's recipe.
Handed down through the years.
Handed down, right? So, and there you go. And so that recipe came from Italy with my great grandmother. So, but anyway, so there you go. Those are that's my top 3.
Whoa, wow, man. No comments whatsoever. All of a sudden, boom, 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 boom.
Boom, boom, boom. Okay. We had Chris Pizarro an hour ago said, "What's up, guys? Sorry, Chris, just saw this now." They all just popped up.
Yeah, they just all populated.
They all popped up. So sorry about that, Chris. We just got them now. So what's up, Chris? Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
Ironically, I was texting with Chris, so he obviously didn't get a response on the show. So
we had some sort of delay between Facebook Live and the stream. So we apologize that we did not see these and reply to all earlier.
All three of them just popped up right now for both of us. So also not too long, a couple minutes after Chris was Gene saying no guest this week. Yeah,
thanks, Captain Obvious.
Thank you, Captain Obvious. All right. No, Dave is my guest, and I'm Dave's guest. How's
yes,
that?
and Gene, you can be our guest.
You can be our guest, Gene. Be our guest. Be our guest. And then Al, about 10 minutes ago, he commented, "Is this a show about beer or ravioli?"
And the answer is
yes. Yes. The answer is yes.
And I'm surprised that Cthulhu is not replying with his favorite 3 pasta dishes.
Al, if you are watching the show right now, before we sign off, give us your top 3 pasta dishes, please.
Yep.
There you go.
And
anyway.
No, that would be Scott. Chicken parm is not a pasta dish.
Chicken parm is not a pasta dish.
What is your favorite side pasta with chicken parm?
Mine?
Yep.
What is my favorite side pasta with chicken parm?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what? Most of the time, and it depends on my mood, and it depends on what's offered too, right? Obviously. Yeah. But most of the time, if I'm getting chicken parm, veal parm, anything that has a pasta side to it, 99 times out of 100, I'm getting standard good old bowl of spaghetti. And I'll tell you why. Whatever the dish is, I usually, as long as they offer the sauce on it, I will get it. So chicken parm, obviously, you're getting the marinara on it. Veal parm, whatever. But if you're getting veal marsala, I want a bowl of spaghetti with the marsala sauce on it.
Interesting.
Chicken piccata, I want the piccata sauce on the pasta.
On the pasta. That's
chicken franchise, I want the franchise sauce on the pasta.
Interesting.
Yeah.
See, for me,
and spaghetti is going to hold that sauce a little bit more as you take it.
Yes, it will. I like with my chicken parm. I like penne vodka, penne alla vodka.
Yeah. Jim, Big Jim, you know Jim, buddy Jim.
Not as
our
big,
Jim
used to be Jim.
No, used to be Big Jim. Now he's just Jim. Jim has really slimmed down. So kudos to Jim. Cheers to you, Jim. But Jim, in any event, when he'll order a chicken parm sandwich, get this stuff. He'll order it. He has them make it with vodka sauce instead of.
I've done that. I do enjoy that, but I prefer the traditional. And every now and then, I will also, if they don't offer it with a penne vodka, fettuccine Alfredo.
Fair enough.
I'll order it with. I like
that works.
I like the counterpoint.
That works. Right. Fair enough.
And you get some of the marinara, drip into that Alfredo, and you make
that works sauce. Right? You make your own. Yeah, just add a little vodka, pour a little vodka over it, and you're good to go. Right?
Oh yeah, well, I keep that in the hip flask.
Yeah. There you go. Right.
Oh no, it's usually bourbon in the hip flask. If it's not bourbon, it's usually tequila. Neither one of those.
You don't want to put either of those in a sauce.
Yeah, that doesn't work. No.
But in any event, I digress.
Thanks, Tom.
Anytime. Whatchamacallit? Yeah, I do that as far as the pastas go with that dish. But I will tell you my favorite chicken sandwich, if you will. Not that it's become a show about food now, right?
Yeah.
Thanks, Al. You pushed us over the edge. Anyway, with my favorite chicken sandwich, chicken parm is a great hero. Sausage parm, I'll get. A good meatball parm hero is good too. But I will get my favorite chicken sandwich, my favorite Italian sandwich. Chicken cutlet, breaded is better, obviously, because I have breaded chicken cutlet, sautéed broccoli rabe.
Okay.
It's got to be sautéed like olive oil and garlic. Sautéed broccoli rabe with a couple of pieces of garlic on it and a little bit of fresh mozzarella. That's my That's my favorite chicken sandwich.
See, if I can't get a good chicken parm, my favorite chicken sandwich after that is so American it's disgusting.
Right. Go for it.
I came across this sandwich when I was living in Plainfield. And there was this place in South Plainfield. And they made a sandwich called The Hammer. And
wasn't that your nickname in high school?
No, it was actually Psycho Chicken. That's beside the point. We'll have to tell that story one day how I got that one. But so it's on a hoagie roll, sub roll, whatever you want to call it. They're not grinder rolls here, so shut up. If you're listening from New England, I apologize. They're grinder rolls, but hoagie roll down here.
or just an Italian roll.
Italian roll.
It's an Italian roll.
No,
Long Italian roll.
there was
Long
not.
Italian
There
roll.
was
It's a
not.
long Italian roll.
This one did not have enough chew to it to be an Italian roll. So
All right. So it's just
anyway,
bread. So it's a sub roll.
it's a sub roll, right?
Yeah.
So it's 2 chicken cutlets.
Mm-hmm.
It is American cheese. It is bacon.
Mm-hmm.
It is. We'll get to it. There's tomato. There's lettuce, and there's mayonnaise.
Mm-hmm.
And you take all those components by themselves, and they're mostly boring. You put them all together, and it's sublime. And a local sandwich shop near where I work makes something very, very similar. So I get that on a very regular basis when I go to the office. So
Fair enough.
but chicken parm to me is one of those special things.
Oh no, it is. It is always is. And speaking of that, something that chicken parm is also special to. Mr. James Healy just wrote in. He just had a salad. Now he wants a chicken parm with vodka sauce sub. It's going to be a rough night.
We're sorry, Jim.
Sorry, Jim. We are sorry. We are sorry. Hey, it's your sub. We just reported it. So,
There's a place in what is the place in Weehawken? There's a sub shop in Weehawken that offers chicken parms the 2 ways.
right.
Actually. So, and I think that's the first time I had it with the vodka sauce on it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Before we go, I just want to. I had a little bit of this one beer left. I just want to. Speaking of sausage, I just want to sauces, or gravy, as it were. Right.
It
I just
depends
wanna-
on
Last week, Wednesday was my mother's birthday. She would have been 80.
80.
Right. So cheers, Mom.
I have
Happy
nothing
birthday,
left.
and
hold
thank
on,
you.
I do have a little bit left.
There you go.
Okay.
And
Cheers to you, Mom.
thank you for that. Thank you for everything, but thank you for that gravy. So thank you. And lasagna.
Lasagna.
And it's also her daughter's birthday today. So happy birthday, Laura.
I've heard of that.
So anyway, all right. What?
You posted something this morning.
I did. Right at noon. Boom. Right in the middle of the day. Why not? So, okay. So on that note, anything else?
Well, next week. Who we have next week?
It's a surprise.
It's a big surprise. We're going to leave it as a surprise.
We're going to leave it as a
When
surprise.
he says surprise, means John doesn't have a book yet.
Oh no. We actually
He
have.
does.
We actually
does
do
this
have
time, but it actually is a surprise.
This time it's actually booked. We do have, and in fact, there's only 1 week in the next 6 that aren't booked.
And so hopefully
that would be 2 weeks from. That would be. I'm sorry. 3 weeks. 3 weeks from tonight. 3 weeks from tonight.
It'll take us, and if that's the case, it'll take us into December.
That'll take us into December, and then with getting back, people getting back, and we've reached out to booking all of the shows that we plan on booking. We'll actually within the next 2 weeks, we should be booked through March. Actually,
That'll be
not
awesome.
till March.
Through
March,
and we keep adding on.
So,
and we'll see because my next vacation is booked in April.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if I can do anything live in April. Not a lot of breweries out where I'm going to be going in April, so
right.
It should be slim pickings. But planning in August to go to Ireland, so there might be some sort of live feed going on at St. James.
That's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing.
Yeah, because we fully plan on booking the tour that includes the lesson on how to pour a Guinness.
That's awesome.
Definitely need to do that.
Definitely need to do that, and you need to, if allowed.
Many of them.
I mean, that goes without saying, right? But if allowed, you need to Facebook Live that on the podcast page.
If they allow us,
if allowed, right?
Yeah, you will see,
or at least a part of it. Part of it,
see the pouring of the Guinness, because let's face it, pouring of it. And I love how in the commercial Stella tried to make the pouring of a Stella something ritualistic.
Yeah, and I don't know why. And they got Matt Damon involved in it too.
Yeah, and it just didn't work. But let's face it, there's no beer on the planet that has a ritualistic pour to it the way Guinness does. And like many Guinness drinkers, if I go into a bar and they just pull that handle and fill the thing up and hand it to you, you're looking at them going, lose your job.
Right. Yeah.
just lose your job. You've done this wrong. I don't care about. I know that Guinness says there's a particular amount of time between the first pour and the second pour. I don't care about that so much. But if you don't do that first pour, let it sit and rest before you do that second pour, regardless of the time, you've not poured your Guinness properly. I am not getting my proper Cascade.
No, you're not.
And I'm sorry, I'm easily entertained. That Cascade is a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful hop, too, but it has nothing to do with Guinness.
Yeah, it's a different. There's no. Oh God, Cascade and Guinness would be awful. One of the worst things ever.
We'll have to run Guinness. We'll have to run Guinness on
Through
nitro
a Randall.
through a Randall of Cascade hops.
Oh, that is. Please don't.
I
do
got.
that.
Hold on. Ready. I got the worse than that. Worse than that. Ready.
Worse.
Guinness on nitro through a Randall of Cascade hops and gummy worms.
Okay, the show's over now, folks. Thank you for watching and listening. If you
So anyway, I said worse than that, so I precursored it. I mean, I was like,
woof,
foreshadowed it.
yeah, just end the show. Just end the show now.
Just end the show. What would that acronym be?
Just end that. That would be JETS. Jets.
There you go. All right.
Who are just what 5-2?
5-2. The Jets are 5-2, and the Giants are 6-1.
Is this not a? Is
6-1.
this not a sign of the apocalypse?
This is I mean, you know what? Whenever the Giants were losing bad, right? I always say my time machine works. It's 1977, right? So the Giants are 6-1 and the Jets are 5-2. My time machine works. It's 1986.
Yeah, there
you go.
Right? And have you seen? And I don't mean to get on Yankees fans because I was kind of hoping they'd get to the series, but
it's local. I mean,
have you seen that? Have you seen that meme someone put out? It shows Yankee Stadium with a Halloween spirit banner hanging from it. It's like that is so rude.
Well, you know what? In fairness to Yankee fans,
they did it further than the Mets.
It's funny. No. In fairness to Yankee fans, the Spirit Halloween opened up at Citi Field before the one at Yankee Stadium did. All right.
Yes, it did.
All right. Anyway.
So who you going for? You going for the Astros or the Phillies?
I'm not even watching baseball.
Yeah, because you've got the team that, as a Mets fan, we hate the most versus the cheaters.
Right. There's absolutely no reason to watch this World Series as far as I, and quite frankly, many other people in the United States are concerned.
Yeah, this is the fuck them both series.
This is the Major League Baseball. Oh shit! What the hell just happened? World Series.
Yes,
oh shit! Maybe we shouldn't have involved 30 other teams in the playoffs with participation trophies.
Yeah, you're right.
This is the defunding of the value of 162 game seasons.
So basically, what you are saying is this will probably be one of the lowest rated World Series in the history of the World Series.
Absolutely.
I don't disagree with that.
Absolutely. So anyway, all right. Well, on that note, that's
this is the it's now hockey and basketball season World Series.
Right, exactly. Football, but yes, absolutely. So. This is the.
I'm sorry. I'm just used to leaving football out of it because it shocks me.
By this point, you are right. Yeah, exactly. So,
oh my!
Yeah. Now this is fodder for tomorrow night's podcast. So on that note, we will wrap this one up for today. We want to thank everybody for watching, and for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thanks for listening. Don't forget to visit our website www.logroom.com. That's LEGERROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our YouTube channel. All of them are at the Locker Room. Remember, we go live with a video podcast on both Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday night around 6:30 Eastern time.
It's 7:15 tonight.
I know. Well, it was different for tonight because we were waiting and then things happened and shit happened and whatever. But on that note, for those who just
occurred. Yes.
Occurred. Shit occurred.
Caca occurred.
Caca occurred.
You got to have the alliteration.
It's a CO. Caca occurred. CCO. Caca occurred.
Caca occurred.
Right. So for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcasts, and iHeartRadio.
Okay. He did this in Montauk without the cheat sheet, smoother than you just did that.
Pretty much, I know.
Yeah.
And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Drink a lot of beer, but drink responsibly. And we will talk to you soon, folks. Take care.
In about a week, maybe.
In about a week.
Yeah, we'll see you in about a week.
Cheers.
Ciao, Bellas.
Ciao, Bella.